FBI says we got a Jesse Smollett in the poker world. A dealer mistake cost a dude $85K. Online poker cheats gonna get live poker bans. And a dude dropped dead at the table in Texas. These stories and more tonight on...
I'm still working on the title. I don't know what the fuck.
Hey, how you doing, guys? I'm Ryan Depaulo. This show is brought to you by Coin Poker. Sign up using the code RDP to be eligible for code user exclusive giveaways. Like next week, 6 people who have signed up using my code will be chosen at random to be given $200 to play with me for an hour or two, a little cash game. And trust me, the people who are under my code, we're all idiots. It'll be a soft game. All right, let's get to the news. Okay, so... Oh, Jesus. Maurice Hawkins won his record-tying 18th World Series of Poker circuit ring this past week, taking home over $141,000, now retied for the lead with Ari Engel, who has a bunch of bullshit mixed game ones. An impressive record, given the size of the fields that Maurice has won, and even Ari Engel admits that he's the GOAT of rings. However, the main headline was a hand that saw Divyam Saitarshi finishing in third place erroneously due to a dealer error and taking home only $64,000 and change, like a poor piece of shit on welfare. The hand I'm about to show you, filmed by poker.org, is extremely graphic. Viewer discretion advised. I watch people die in horrific industrial accidents, guys, and I actually, seriously, no bit, couldn't finish this video. So let's take a look. So you can see in the footage here that Divvy is all in and at risk with Queen 10 against Maurice's Ace 3. Divvy has taken the lead with Queen 10 when Maurice turns a gut shot straight draw and begins calling for the 5. This served as an unintentional, I believe, misdirection, for when the 5 did come out in the river, it was a perfect situation for everyone to just be like, oh shit, and not notice that there were 4 clubs out there, which should have given Divvy the win and the hand and not be eliminated. But the dealer did it way too fast, mucked the hand, awarded Hawk the pot, and Divvy was eliminated in third place. While an egregious dealer error, this wasn't even the worst dealer error this past week. Just yesterday, my guy CeeLo sent my fentanyl delivery to my previous address, surely killing the current tenants. Many people in the poker world asking, how could this happen? How could nobody say anything? And one theory, mostly by me, is that nobody wants to say anything. Remember, when you're at a final table and all in, nobody is rooting for you except you. Even your rail, if they don't have a piece, are anti-sweating you and want to go the fuck home. The people working, the reporters, the dealer, the floor, all want to go home, and the other players want to make more money. So yeah, some of them probably saw it and didn't say anything, but I didn't say anything when I saw my niece eat a booger. She's 12 years old. I would have embarrassed the shit out of her. I chose to not say anything at the table, the dinner table. I'm kidding. She doesn't do that anymore, Riley. I'm kidding. Let this serve as a reminder. It's every man and woman for themselves out there in the poker felt. There is no they in poker unless your purple-haired cousin's kid is playing. Then there is a they. PokerStars ambassador David K announced last week on Twitter that he will be stepping down as a team pro and no longer representing the site, leading to many questions in the poker world, primarily, who is David K? I'm kidding, of course. I've watched up to 3 minutes of his streams, more than I can tolerate most streamers. I want to say fuck you all. I'm on Team Vlog. A man died of an apparent heart attack last Sunday in Texas. Yeah, the Texas man, 73-year-old Mark Doc Toulouse, dropped dead of an apparent heart attack while playing in a $300 tournament at Texas Card House, Dallas. A sad and disturbing scene as described. As soon as he collapsed, the other old men at Mark's table heroically jumped into action, screaming for the floor so they could rush to pick up the seat card. Every article covering the event was quick to get to the information that every poker player was worried about what happened to his stack. He was blinded out. He was in the money in the tournament, and he ended up finishing in 26th place for $1,475, money that the card house says his family will get. But of course, as a poker player in DGen, that's actually all the money they will get. He didn't have, no, I'm kidding. Mark had a hard time accepting he was dead in the afterlife. God asking if it's because he wanted to say goodbye to his family. Mark explaining, no, it's because I had 2x average chips. One local Mizrag jumped in to help the EMTs, saying, guys, this is a turbo structure. Can we just call it? GGPoker announced they have banned 31 player accounts for violating their fair play rules, saying they worked in collaboration with GTO Wizard. To me, it just seems a little bit hypocritical for them to be getting real-time assistance in their bans. I mean, study before you go out banning. Don't use GTO Wizard during. It seems like, telling us not to do it, and you're just gonna use GTO. Coin Poker's own Patrick Leonard inquiring on Twitter if this ban will carry over to the Live World Series of Poker, which GG now owns. German twink and poker legend who apparently hasn't given up on NFTs yet, Fedor Holt, responded saying, yes, this is the intention and the plan. This brings up an interesting moral discussion. Should what we do online carry over to live consequences? And I don't know that I think so. Just because somebody maybe searched sexy women fox hybrids once or twice, I don't think it's fair for the wife for the entirety of their relationship every time a dog comes up to say Ryan loves dogs. And is it really fair just because somebody defrauds people online that they should never work at a bank? Oh yeah, no wait, we definitely should. Never mind, it should carry over. I think it's great to send these guys a message. You are not welcome to wait an hour and a half long registration lines with the rest of us and play with 9 other guys at a table, 12 hands an hour where you can't cheat. Keep your play to ACR. Tom Dwan sparking amazingly lame Twitter drama after sharing his banal and really useless observation about the Ukraine situation after Zelensky's visit to the White House last week, saying his read of the situation was that J.D. Vance felt disrespected by Zelensky and that Zelensky might have some trust issues with Putin. The Twitter drama came in when David Lappin jumped in, calling Dwan an imbecile and saying he should stay in his lane. Many people quick to point out, though, that Dwan does in fact have an expertise in this area because of how close he is with J.D. Vance's brother, Vi. Tom Dwan has been extremely sympathetic to Ukraine during the war, as somebody who also has received millions with nothing to show, and someone who's basically owned by Asia at this point. But I want to address Dwan directly for a sec. David is right. You're a fucking piece of shit. That just because his country was invaded by the guy and his people are being murdered, that he has trust issues? Who the fuck are you? Ben CB, of course, jumping in the mix with some engagement bait that he doesn't believe, sharing his take on Lappin's take on Dwan's take on Zelensky. Highly important stuff goes on Twitter. I don't want to get into politics on this show. And Zelensky, I know your suits are probably all blown up and shit, but like, you could dress a little nicer when you're coming to ask for funds to save your people. You might want to look a little better than I do going out for ice cream at Wawa at fucking midnight. And a mass email to all ACR Team Pro ambassadors, ACR HR, reminding their Team Pros, do not post photos of yourself cheating on social media this week. A man who claims he was there for a golf tournament fucks around and wins the biggest Triton field ever in a $15,000 entry tournament. The tournament ended up being the biggest field in Triton history with 379 players. He commented after the win, I found this event relatively easier, even simpler than some tournaments in China, insulting the entire field of the best players in the world and his entire country in one swoop. Then he went on to say he wasn't even there for poker, completing the energy of when a 13-year-old beats you at Call of Duty and says they weren't even trying. I wasn't even trying. Well, many people don't know that China and Korea are actually different countries. He traveled to another country and just decided to play in a $15,000 entry multi-day tournament. I'm not sure. Now, Mrs. Hongjin, I know. His golf trips keep him from gambling. But I would just take a look at the schedule of the Triton series with the countries and dates of his golf trips. I'm sorry. Michael Jordan is a degenerate gambler. There's no update here. I just wanted to remind you, he is, and it's okay. And our main story tonight, in a crazy, convoluted, confusing story that's been going on for a year and a half.
All new at 4 today, a Huron County man has been arraigned in federal court charged with 1 count of financial institution fraud.
George Jansen, a 4-time WSOP ring winner and Midwest mid-stakes shit reg, has been arrested by the FBI and being charged with $3.2 million in financial institution fraud. You're probably wondering, like I am, can't I scam up to $5 million before the FBI investigates me? Well, you're not wrong, but that's only if you didn't pull a Jesse Smollett a year earlier.
The FBI is believed to be looking into whether a Huron County man who has made quite a bit of money playing poker was kidnapped in an alleged extortion scheme.
Back in December 2023, Jansen went missing for 35 days. When he was found, he was on the side of the road with his hands zip-tied in front of his body and bloodied. However, even first responders were really not buying what he was selling here.
There is a suspicious situation going on there. I'm going to get more.
That suspicious situation involved George Jansen of Bad X, who investigators say flagged down a passerby for help at around 12:30 Saturday morning on Thomas Road in rural Meade Township.
Suspicious situation. Guy's hands were zip-tied.
Wait, why did that lady just make it sound like his hands being zip-tied was the suspicious part? Like, I'm just a recreational kidnapper, but I thought you're supposed to zip-tie their hands. The FBI filing does not explicitly accuse Jansen of faking the kidnapping of December 2023, but they do state that he was $2 million in debt on bad loans and fake checks at the time, which conveniently would go on to match the exact amount that his Hispanic gang kidnappers were trying to extort from his friends and family and business accounts.
It was on November 13th when a family member of Jansen's called police saying Jansen was in trouble in Monroe County, south of Dundee.
Just 2 weeks before he went missing, the state of Michigan barred George from selling cars for 5 years when they found out he had taken out loans on fictitious and non-existent cars. Fictitious? What, he just made up? If you make up a car, just completely make up a car and you get a loan, I feel like that's on the bank. Allegedly, before his abduction, he had already written a ton of bad checks, taken out these loans on the fictitious cars, withdrew hundreds of thousands of dollars from the ATM from his business account. You know this guy's a degenerate because even millions of dollars in debt, he didn't fuck with 50s.
A family friend eventually found Jansen's car. These photos were obtained from the Monroe County Sheriff's Department. One photo shows a couple of $50 bills on the floor of the car.
So what it appears is that the FBI began looking at him, or were looking at him at the time of his abduction a year and a half ago, continued to investigate him, and now he's screwed. I mean, dude, you look like a guy who showers with his gun in his hand, praying a Mexican will break in your house so you can kill them. This was not a good bluff, if I'm being honest with you about this hand history here. After having his family drop off cash at different locations during his kidnapping, final straw was when his kidnappers requested that just $500 be deposited to his WSOP.com account, but nobody was able to do this, and he was miraculously let go.
Make the booty bounce on the dance floor.
Now, he doesn't deserve any applause. He called with King Jack.